Okay, now we roll for leaders that were in battle. Napoleon, John, Soult, Devout, Mac, and Ferdinand. Admiral Nelson. There is no Artrician phase or Alliance phase, so we will start with the English naval phase and see what the English have to do. The English naval phase. We're going to leave this force here to watch the French. We can't intercept it. If we try to move this Portuguese fleet down here, the French can actually try to pursue it. So what we'll have to do is go 1, 2 into the port, pick up the Portuguese fleet, then 3, 4 back into this Mediterranean zone. Now I didn't have enough to get it blockaded, but I will blockade it next turn. The Spanish fleet staying at sea is the correct thing to do. I can't do anything about it. So the Russians are going to take their fleet and move it. For map board 1, you got the Baltic Sea, so it'd be 1. It'd be 2. And then it'll stay here. The Spanish can pursue, but the Spanish decide they're not going to fight that. And so they'll remain right there at sea also, watching the Spanish fleet to stop any French attempts from moving. That'll be it for the English naval phase. We're not going to move the transports out because they can get hit by the Spanish fleet. There's no Artrician Alliance phase. We move to the reinforcement phase. Let's start with the English. The English have 2 production cities, and we can build 2 infantry, which we're going to build 1, and we're going to save 1 point because we like building up to lend our troops the other forces. We're going to put it right there in Plymouth. Then they get a ship point, and we're going to put that right there. So that's it for the English. The Russians get 3. What we're trying to do is take out Sweden if we can. And Sweden has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 men. So I'm going to keep building up there. There's 1, there's 6, 7 with the leader A, and we're going to bring over Barclay in this troop. So we're going to go 1. Since this is the end of the river, you can go around it. So it's 1, 2, 3, and force march 1, no problem, to there. We're going to take leader A, and we'll leave leader A, even though I probably want to bring reinforcements from there. So I'm moving the Russians, I guess. We want to get these guys to Vienna as fast as we can. He's going to move down the river, and he'll go 1, 2, 3. So he's allowed to force march 1 without any problems. We're going to go ahead and leave a man at Lublin, because that's going to be our supply line. And we don't want to get hit with our attrition losses next turn. So if we go 2, 4, 5, and we'll leave the cavalry on its own to there. and we'll leave Bagration and Gustav like this. That way we don't get hit with. And then here we go 1, 2, 3, 4. So in the cavalry, we'll go 4, 5 for the forced march. The guard 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll go there with him. And we'll pull this guy up to here. And then Benningsen is coming in with 3. Goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Forced march in its own country. If it's its own country and it's morale's 2, he's not going to lose any, so we're going to go there. All the supply source is coming from Brest-Litovsk. We're moving the Russians up here. Now the Austrians. Max dilemma. He can't overrun because he's out of supply. We can attack, which would move him 1 hex this way, cause some French loss. But he's going to lose a strength point. I would say let's entrench and force the French to deal with this. Stay right there. Let's go ahead and take an easy attack and kill the cavalry. The odds are definitely 2 to 1. His morale's 1, mine's 1. I got a +1 for a leader, so we're probably going to do that one just to kill that cavalry. Charles has got to go 1, 2, 3. He can force march 4 to there with no problem. Let's do that. We want to get on this so we can get in the Danube. Hiller, I know you guys maybe an aggressive player wants to go out toward Italy and then into France, but that ain't going to do you much, especially with Napoleon sitting there cutting off your supply. You need to do the right things and block the Danube. So Venice, we'll leave 1 man at Venice, and then we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4 with a forced march there. The question is John, what's the best spot for him? Because all these forces are coming down. They can go right around the river there, so taking Munich ain't really going to help me out. I guess the best bet is right there. Don't let him get farther than that. So John's going to go right there. John's only got 1. You know what? Let's put him there on the mountain. Help defend. If anything, the French go too far down here, John can threaten the flank. So we'll go with that. Leader A, we're going to leave these guys at Vienna since Charles and Hiller and all the generals will be coming back. Leader A is going to go back to Budapest because he's going to be picking up troops and bring them to Vienna. Well, Leader A will, before he moves to Budapest, he takes 1 man and drops him off there and then moves to A. This ensures supply no matter what happens here. Supply will run from here to Charles, and you can see John's in supply, so he can retreat where he wants to. Let's attack that one. Definitely 2 to 1 odds. +1 to the Austrians. 6, 7 at 2 to 1. And the larger force, Austrians lose nothing. Smaller force is going to lose 1. That's all we wanted. We just wasted a Bavarian cavalry unit. So, that's it. The Allies' turn is done. We advanced the marker to October. And now we're back to the French turn. Well, the decision here again is if the French don't try to break out, they're going to get blockaded. Then they got to run the blockade. That's an automatic combat. Here, at least he has to roll for a pursuit, and maybe he can fail the pursuit. What's the 1 to 1 table like? The odds. You have to subtract 2 off the dice. If we get a 3 minus 2 is a 1. French are going to lose a unit. If you roll a 4, French just retreat. So I need a 4, 5, or 6. It's a 50% chance. And he has to get the pursuit. So let's do it. French are going to move out into the med. So Nelson's going to pursue. Needs a 5 or 6, and he can add 2 to this dice. See what we get. And he does succeed. We go into a naval combat with the English getting another 2 plus to their die, or subtract off their dice, and it's 5. Minus 2 is a 3, and the French retreat at 1-to-1 odds. French go back to port. They're stopped a second time, but this time the admiral blockades them. So everything but the Spanish fleet there is bottled up. Over there, we're going to try to run a blockade right here. Got to get some chances out here with the Spanish. So let's try to run that blockade. For that, use the blockade table. And let's see what we get. And it's a 2, and the 2 says failed. So now I can either attack or just stay where I'm at. And I think I'll stay where I'm at. I don't like to get too crazy and trying to run every blockade and escape. But let's try Amsterdam. No, I don't want to try in the North Sea. If I lose, then the English free that up. Let's try to run that one. A 3. And on the blockaded table, a 3 fails. So I can either fight or stay there at 1-to-1 odds, and he would get a +1 to his die roll, or a -1. Again, I need a basically pretty good roll. Let's try it. Let's try to fight this one. We're going to get in a battle. French would be a larger force since they're equal. And I have to -1 because of the English morale. And it is a 6. Minus a 5. Smaller force must retreat. So he has to retreat to a friendly port. The friendly port on that sea zone has to go to Lisbon.
Now it could go to Plymouth if we want, since that's on the 2-front port there. But I'm going to take it to Lisbon.
Now, I got 2 French ships that just escaped out of there. What I want to do, now as they escape, they can be pursued by other English ships. But remember, the English were trying to trap the ships. Remember what happened? We left here. We left the 1 Spanish out. We're going to let them go. No, we can't let them go. We're going to try to attempt a pursuit, right? I don't want to do that one. Let's try to do this one. Pursuit attempt. Since he's in port, he don't get a +1. He needs a 5 or a 6. He missed. So that failed. We're going to go and attack the English fleet at Cadiz.
So you see what the French are trying to do here. I don't run every single blockade every turn. I try 1, maybe 2. If I get out in the sea zone, then I go and attack another blockaded ship that I can outnumber like 2-to-1. That's why I'm hitting Cadiz. I have 2-to-1 odds on this British ship, and I'm going to try to free up this ship, the Spanish ship that's being blockaded. Because there's only 3 ways you can get in a naval combat here. 1 is by trying to run a blockade and then choosing to fight. 2 is by pursuing an enemy and succeeding. And 3 is being in the same coastal hex. That's why he can go into that coastal hex there and fight the English.
It's a 2-to-1 odds. We have to subtract 1 off the dice. And it's a 2 at 2-to-1.
And that says larger force retreat. So the French have to go back to their Now, the English, even though they won that battle, they could follow the French fleet back to this port, but the French have 2 ships. The English cannot blockade that. Remember, they only had one, and they're going to remain on blockade duty over in Cadiz.
We want to try to get Lexi. I don't want to free up anything up in the North Sea and help that out at all, so we'll just wait there. He has to come back and try to blockade that, which he would do with that. And then I have to do it again, so I would really like to get Nelson and this fleet out of here. Or I need to get a fleet over to here, get Nelson out of there. That's what I'm going to do with the British. Okay, naval units are done for the French and Spanish. Remember, Spanish don't have any production, and of course they don't want to move because then the English can start influence them on the alliance table. So the next thing we go to is your attrition phase. Let's see where we get hurt here. 2, 4, 5. We have 9 here with Napoleon. What that gives us is we have to lose a strength point. Being 9 strong outside your home country, and that's what you use satellite units for. So this Italian is lost. And we're going to check all the rest. We have 4 there, which is safe. 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 6, I believe, is also safe. Devout. Has 10, 11 has 12. And they got to lose 2, and 1 must be a cavalry. That's a mistake on my part. That is a big mistake on my part. But that's how we learn. Getting hurt. Okay, looks like our attrition is done. What is this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is good there. Okay. Everything else inside the home country won't matter. Next thing, alliance phase. The French don't have anything on their side yet. Alliance table, it's in the English favor, so we don't do anything there. Reinforcement phase. French get 4, and you know what? I need the cavalry back, so I'm going to spend 2 on the cavalry and then build 2. Okay, and I'm going to place the cavalry down here to get them back in the battle. And I'm going to place, got to start protecting my coast here. I'm going to place 1 here. And what have we got here? 2, 3, 4. I'm going to put another one there. So let's put 1 there. I like to put 5 because remember, with the new rules and the optional rules, you can carry 2 men in a transport. So there's 2, 4, and with the Portuguese, he can actually get 6. So I want to keep building up the coast here. I don't want him taking these ships. Don't want to make the fight easy there. Okay, reinforcements for the French are done, and we can build from the Italian sector, which we'll put 1 here. And we can build from the Bavarian sector. Now the way we build miners here, since they only have 1 production, you can put it on the capital and turn it over using 1 production point, then the next turn you use the second one and it's built. If the capital gets attacked, that strength point, and it gets taken, you lose it. So that's the way we do it. Right now I'll just go with the infantry for the German state. And that's all we got. Let's get down the Danube. Lands with 4. We'll give him the Bavarian 2 for 5. Let's take lands and go 1, 2, 3, 4. So lands is going to get to there. And we're going to now use this player 8. It'll start getting a little bit easier for us when we're figuring out our attrition. We're going to take leader A and go 1, 2, 3, and then move him back to Bavaria. So we'll give him another one. And then let's take Napoleon and go 1, 2, 3, 4 to there. We want leader A to go 1, 2. I can't get the trustees that turn. I have to take Venice. Napoleon has to leave one guy behind. One at Innsbruck. And the other one will go with Napoleon. Leader A will advance here. Devout will go so I just went ahead and moved the rest of the French. I think you get the idea of how to move. I just brought Devout's force, most of Salt's force, and dropped them off right there because that's going to attack the entrenched Austrians. And they're still cut off from supply. I have everything here. They have no supply. So I can dictate where they retreat to. And I think I'm going to bring Marmont down. We're going to go 1, 2 in the forest. And then into Bavaria. 3, 4 with a forced march. Okay. Let's announce our combat. Here to here. Here to here. And here to here. Let's start with leader A. Are you inside or outside the city? Venice says, yeah, you're just one man. You're going inside. It's 1 to 1. Morale is even. So it's 1 to 1 battle. 6. Small one, large one, and only one guy. Dead. Austrian. Dead Italian. So leader A is on there. And actually leader A can move these forces here. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay. Let's go on to the next battle. And he has 7, 8, 9, 10. He has 10 men. Devout and Messina have 11 men. My morale's 1 better. My leadership's 1 better. So I'm up by 2, but he has the entrenchment.
But the entrenchment gives him 1, so I'm up by 1.
It's a 1 to 1 battle. But he rolls an 11. At 1 to 1. D2 to the small force, and he has 10 men, right? 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes. He's going to lose 3, and of course 1 has to be a cavalry. So he loses cavalry and 3 men. He's demoralized by 2. And next battle. First you could say if you want to withdraw. First we can finish the combat. We have Salt. Again in the mountains, Salt's +1, the French +1, but in the mountains he gets a 2. But we have 6, so it's definitely 3 to 2. Even roll is a 10 at 2 to 1. And it's a D3 with the smallest force being 1, so he's gone. Okay, and then that's all the attacks. So the demoralized forces must retreat, Again, I get to pick. I can't move any further away, which that is a closest supply source, so I can move him in movement points right there. I do not have more cavalry than he does, so he don't lose one for moving. So he goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And
Now the correct way for the battles, which I don't always follow because I'm doing it by myself and I'm trying to hurry, but you declare all your battles, you conduct all the combat, then both forces decide if they wish to withdraw, then both forces will decide if they want to commit additional forces to the battle.
this is next turn. It'll be like that. It'll be like that. I'll just move Messina with 5 men in. He goes to there. He's out of supply. John has to retreat. John will go there. Demoralized markers are gone, but South can occupy it. That'll go like that.
And then after these combats, we rolled for all leader deaths and nobody died.
I would have really liked to cover Munich. I didn't have cavalry or forces to do it. But he's still out of supply, so. And we killed enough forces for that. So that's it. The French turn and the Spanish turn is done. So the English naval phase, I want to try to do, what we want to try to do is get this back blockaded, and I want to get Nelson off of here. Now the danger of moving one ship around with Nelson is these two fleets can intercept. So what I'm going to do is and if I take one ship away, this is no longer blockaded, and now they can pursue and attack one ship. So what we're going to do is take the Gibraltar fleet and move it to there. Then I'm going to take another fleet, pick up Nelson, and move it to there. So Nelson's there now. Now we're going to take these two and go back to blockade the French here. Now the French can come out and try the fight or just get blockaded. And we might as well try the fight. I mean, we might as well stick with this, see what happens. The pursue, we need a 5 or a 6. And we got the 5. So the battle takes place. The English get to -1 off the dice. And it would be the French. It would be the English being active. So they would be the larger force. So the French would actually be the smaller force. So the French needs a subtract, or the English get to add 1 to their dice. And it's a 2 becomes a 3. The odds are 1 to 1. A 3 larger force retreats. And so the English are the larger, and they're retreating to a friendly port. And the English ships, or the French ships, remain at sea. We have 2 more French ships out in the ocean now. So things are going well for the French in the Navy. The English can't seem to sink ships. We need Admiral Nelson involved to get this done. So let's get to the naval phase being done. The Russians are going to sit there because they're watching the Spanish fleet. When the Spanish fleet tries to do something, the Russian fleet will pursue. Next is the attrition. We have Mac and Ferdinand with 4, 5, 6, 7 troops. And being 6 to 9 outside the home country, you're going to lose a strength point. So they lose one to attrition. Take 2 off, get 1 back. Oh, they're out of supply also. That's right, forgot the out of supply. And if you're unsupplied, so being unsupplied, they actually lose 2. So they just lost 2 Austrians. 2 being out of supply and attrition there. John has nobody. Charles has 1, 6, 11, 12, 13, 14. Charles has 15. Now Charles is in their home country, but at 15 inside the home state is losing 2 strength points. And 1 must be a cavalry. Now that's my bad for doing that to Charles. 9 for the English, everybody else. The Russians, being outside their home country, can have up to, can't have more than 6. That would be 5 there, 3 there, 5 there. See, I've done the Russians correctly. Kept them 5 below, and we need to stay there. So, Russians are good. Next thing is the alliance phase. Now the alliance phase is 1 in the English favor, and we can roll now for the Prussians. So the anti-French coalition needs a 7, so he has to roll a 6 here. And he got a 2. The Prussians do not come in. Movement. Now, we're very tempted to take the Austrians and do some attacking here. That's the reason I put the cavalry on the mountain, is I didn't want Charles to get a favorable hex there when he fought. You could attack lands, get lands to back up. If you don't demoralize them, Napoleon can reinforce. You're going to have to keep your whole stack right there. Just not a good idea to do that stuff. We need to bog down this valley across these 3 hexes.
We have another correction here. The leader, John, when he loses his force, he's supposed to move to the nearest city, so he would really be back here on Le Bon, which isn't going to affect anything. I'm just going to move him out this turn anyways.
So if I take Charles and 5 men, and the other 5 drop them off there as Charles moves to there, we can take Hiller. Let's protect Le Bon, and move 1 guy there. And let's move Hiller on to Vienna. And let's move this guy 4 to Hiller and move him back. Let's move John to here. Let's support him with this 1 cavalry that was from Hiller. And then let's back up cavalry right there, because Napoleon can actually go. Napoleon can come around 2-4, and then he's going to attack. And then I'll give him that. So let's not give him something to attack there. Let's just block this one down there. Let's do that. Ferdinand and Mac out of supply. I guess we ought to get in supply. Move them 1, 2, 3 and get them on the mountain. So Ferdinand and Mac is escaping, which I don't like that. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We just got a leader back in action. Don't like it. Plans didn't work out the best there, boys, but we were trying to cut that off and still move down the Danube. We can't let them get back in the fight, that's for sure. Okay, the Russians. Let's start with Stustov. 1, 2. If he force marches outside his country, so he goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's take Konstantinov. Oh, I forgot the reinforcements, guys. Sorry. I skipped the reinforcement phase. The Austrians get 2. And actually, Leader A would have been able to move him up there before that. And the Russians are building 3. Get another one here. I'm not moving them up. I'm not in no rush right now. So let's get back to Constantine. Bennington can reach 1, 2, 3, 4 to there, and then we're going to send Bennington 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to get him back because we want people from Moscow to get picked up. And Buxhowden will take over this one. The cavalry can go 1 more to there, and then we have 3, 5 men there. Good for our attrition. Okay, so that's the Russian line coming in. We can move this 2 inside their home country. Okay, so you're there. Because we're going to get ready to attack Sweden. That's why I'm bringing some more forces up there. And then combat. I really don't think I want to take any chances and help the French out at all here by withdrawing any further. So we're good with that. We're blocking that line. I'm okay with it. That is the end of the October turn. We're going into November.
I was looking over the rules. We have to make another correction. In the optional rule book on the general, we were using English production points can only be given to friendly or neutral major powers. And that's only done if we're going to use the alliance table that's in that book, which I'm not. So we are scratching that. The English can give production points to whoever they want.